So I'm gonna start by skinning the back all the way up to the occipital bone, creating a nice straight line. All the way across to his temporal. Start by doing the left side first. To make sure all those hairs are off. So that way we don't have to go back to it. Do the same thing on this side. All right, now we check it out. See if both sides are pretty much even. My right side is just a little lower, so I'm just gonna bring it up. Now I'm gonna start using the half guard or open zero and go a quarter of the way up. Now we're gonna take our fade brush, brush those little hairs off, create a clean surface, close a zero into a zero, and then we're gonna start blending in that line on the bottom. And we're gonna do this all the way across. Got a nice little bump there. I'm gonna take my 1.5, I'm gonna go up and bring down the bulk of that next line. And then I'm gonna fade as I go. So I'm gonna kind of scoop that hair that's hanging over the parietal and kind of like lift the clipper away from the head as I'm going up. You're kind of like blending at the same time instead of like creating another line. Like I said earlier, it's all about efficiency. So that's why I like to fade as I go. So you can even do that with the clipper and the comb also. If you don't feel comfortable using that method, it's kind of like a freehand method. So it helps you eliminate the time on fading. And that also depends on the type of hair the person has too. So with his hair kind of like being, on the thicker side, it kind of, sticks out. So it's kind of easy, kind of like to blend it in right away. Then I'm gonna drop down to my one guard and basically just leave it closed and work on that demarcation line. And if you feel like you're creating another line, all you have to do is open up your lever and that will extend the number one and basically blend it in the next line up. How you feeling over there, Adrian?
That was good.
Yeah? How was the Bud Light?
Refreshing.
Is this your first time here or you've been here before?
I've been here before, once.
Okay.
That was before the one.
Oh, all right. Are you in the military?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. What branch?
Navy.
Nice, good. So now, after that, I'm gonna drop down to the half guard and still work on that demarcation line. So as you can notice, the line is basically fading away little by little. So now when I apply the half guard on there, it's basically gonna erase it. Start blending in. And then as you can notice, there's still a slight line there, so you want to pop your guard off, open up the clipper, and work on that demarcation line. See the demarcation line here? And then to smooth it out, just put back your guard on there, your half guard, and work that line again until you get a smooth transition. So basically I'm just blending the top into the sides or into the parietal using clipper over comb technique. So basically what we do is we lift the hair and we take the longer ends and blend it into the parietal. So that way you have a nice smooth transition from the top to the bottom. Or you could either work your way to the left, or you could flip the clipper the opposite direction and work your way to the right. So you could do either both directions. And that creates a smooth transition from the top to the sides. And we're just trimming the top, right?
Yeah,
not too much.
I like it longer, just not
okay.
Yeah.
And is this the way you style your hair? Kind of like to the side like that?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start from the crown and work our way to the front, okay? That's gonna be my guideline. I'm gonna work my way to the right or towards me. He said he did want it on the longer end, so I'm not gonna cut too much from the front, because his head does kind of like dip down that way. And then I'm gonna stand in front of him, and then I'm gonna blend in his left side. So if you notice, this part here on the bottom is shorter than this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm blending in his sides to the top with the scissors. So that creates even more of a smooth transition from the top to the sides. Then now I'm gonna do a little bit of scissor over comb just to kind of like smooth out the sides a little bit more. So all you're doing is basically just taking the ends off of the hair. So if you notice, I'm kind of like looking at his hair in this direction. It's because I want to see if there's anything sticking up over here. And I'm also on this side. So I'm kind of like cross-checking on what I'm doing. I'm not just cutting his hair, I'm actually cross-checking it at the same time as I'm cutting it. That's called cutting with a purpose. At least if I get one fan, man, that'll be cool.
I'm that one fan.
Yeah, he's the one fan. I was like, bro, I got you, man. He's gonna like it. They start making t-shirts and shit. Bobblehead Johns. So now we're gonna start removing some bulk. So I'm gonna use my thinning shears instead of my cutting shears. So if you guys don't know what thinning shears look like, this is what thinning shears look like, all right? So basically I start the same way I started when I started cutting his hair on the top. Work towards me, start with my guideline, and I'm not gonna thin his hair too much. I'm just gonna kind of swipe it twice or 3 times. 3 times is good. And this is the part we have to be careful with. If you notice, he has a cowlick back here. If we cut that too short, then it's gonna end up sticking up really bad. So we don't want to mess with that too much. So now I'm going to use my electric razor to get it even more bald. And I'm just going to start by doing the bottom first. The more pressure you apply, the more bald it's gonna be. You gotta be careful when you're going up with it. If you notice right here, kind of create like a small little line. So if you see that, then basically go with the grain going backwards like this, and it'll eliminate that line. And as you can see, it looks a lot tighter too, right? And basically right now what I'm doing is I'm just going over what I did and kind of like smoothing everything out to my best ability and what I can see from the mirror. Okay. What I like to double check on is the profile to make sure that this is not kind of like higher than the profile on his back, because then it's gonna just look kind of weird, you know? So basically what I call that is hair shaping, and I think it looks pretty good. And now we're gonna do the hot towel neck shave. This. Gotta have fun with it, right? What do you think, bro? It's good?
It's good.
All right. And you want to press down. Let me massage his neck a little bit. It's like, oh man, release some of those nerves, anxiety, stress. Now we're gonna use some styling powder. Basically creates a texturized, dry look. It doesn't make the hair sticky. Just rub it in there real good. And presto, that's it, you're good to go. Pretty good, except for that knot right there, right? Bro.
I blame my mom.
You're all set, man. Thank you, sir. All right, man, absolutely.